What's up, you guys? I'm Jasper and this is JJ Vids. Today I'm going to be doing a review on this 2014 Boxster S Black Edition, so stay tuned. Dive on into this review. I'm going to start off by telling you guys some facts about the Boxster S Black Edition. So this Boxster in particular is a second generation Boxster. They started making them in 2011. The Boxster S Black Editions they started making in 2012 and they made them all the way through 2016. These Porsches came from the factory with two available transmissions. First off was a 6-speed manual transmission, which was standard on these cars. And the secondary transmission was a 7-speed dual clutch PDK transmission, which you won't really see many of these Boxster S Black Editions in because the majority of them came with the 6-speed manual. This car in particular is a 6-speed manual, and let's go over the engine that's in this car right here. So these Boxsters came with a variety of different motors. This one in particular has a 2.7 liter flat six producing just about 300 horsepower. All the power is going through those rear wheels. And like I said before, it is a 6-speed manual. So this is a pretty cool package right here. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys the hood and the trunk right here. And I will start off with the trunk. And most Porsches, the 911s, have their motor rear mounted, which means that the motor sits behind the rear wheels. These Boxsters are actually a little bit different. So if we open up the back right here, as you can see, we have no engine here. There's actually a lot of storage room back here. So you guys are probably wondering, where's the engine at? So where the engine actually is right underneath this soft top right here. And as you can see, we can see that since this is a Black Edition, we do have the special Black Edition embossings in the soft top. But the engine is actually mounted beneath this soft top. So that means if you want a wrench on this car, you got to be either pretty good or you got to leave it up to the dedicated Porsche professionals. So that is pretty much the back of this car. Now let's walk over to the front of this car to where we can see we have some more storage room up here. So first off, before I do open up the trunk, we can tell that this car does have a clear bra in it because you can see the plastic right here. That's just going to help, you know, prevent rock chips and stuff like that and damage to the front, which is a good thing because this is a black car and you will see everything on this car. So let's go ahead and open up the hood, see what we got in here. And as we can see, we got a lot of storage space in this thing. I mean, I already showed you guys we had storage space back there, but now we even have storage space up here as well. And this thing is really deep right here. I'm gonna kind of step on into this thing right here. And as you can see, like I can kind of like crunch all the way in and look at this. I'm like in this thing. I could probably, if I crunch all the way down like this, I could probably close this hood and I could be in here. That's how much room there is in this thing. So let me hop on out of that, and that really gives you guys a good idea of how much storage room is really in the front and rear of this car. It's a pretty practical car. This right here, I would guess, is for the lever to open up this hood if, you know, anyone's trapped in there. And these compartments right here are basically for the spare tire inflator kit. And this top pocket just, you know, goes into there as well. So no worries about that. That's pretty much all there is up here at the front, except for you got the windshield wiper reservoir as well right there. But that should be good up front. Taking one more look at the exterior of the Boxster S Black Edition. I mean, like I said before, everything on this car is black. I mean, it is a Black Edition after all. So I did want to show you guys the rims on this because these are pretty special rims. These are 19-inch fully blacked out rims, and these rims were only offered on the Boxster S Black Edition. No other Porsche came with these specific rims on there. And just looking a little bit closer, we do have the 4-piston Porsche dynamic brakes all the way around on this thing. And as we can see, we're wrapped with the Michelin Pilot Super Sport tires on this, which are beautiful tires for this car. And I did want to go over with you guys, these Boxster S Black Editions did have a facelift in the model year 2015 to the model years 2016. What that facelift did, it gave this car newer rims, bigger rims that had like a silver look to it, and it gave them newer headlights as well. And to be honest with you, I think the rims ruined the look of this car, and it didn't fit the car well. As well with the headlights, I think the headlights were too in your face, and it just wasn't a good facelift, to be honest with you, with this car. So considering that this is a 2014, this is the last model year before the facelift, which in my opinion, this makes this the most valuable Boxster S Black Edition model just because of how it looks. I mean, look at the rims, look at the headlights. I mean, this car still looks brand new. This car is almost 7 years old. I mean, this car is going to age beautifully. It's very, very nice. But going on to the side of this car, I mean, we have the black mirror caps, black door handles, black side vents. We even have blacked out badges in the back, the blacked out wing, the blacked out tips, the blacked out diffuser, and even a blacked out roll cage on this thing. And I really like the way the roll cage looks on this thing. It's not too aggressive. I think it just makes it look like a good roadster. So walking around the front of this thing, I mean, we even have blacked out front lip, front trim. And I guess the only thing that wouldn't be black on this car would be these little sprayers for the front headlights, which are done in chrome. But it's okay. I mean, you got to do a little chrome here and there. I think they got the proportions right on this. What I wanted to show you guys the interior of this car, because the differences between the regular Boxster S's and the Black Edition definitely don't end on the exterior. So let's open this thing up. The first thing that you're going to notice on the interior is this Black Edition door sill right here, which is finished in the silver, which gives a nice contrast to the primarily black interior on this thing. And taking a look at the door panel as well, we have a pretty much fully blacked out door panel, excluding the door handle and the airbag trim. But I really think the silver gives a nice contrast to the fully black. If it was fully blacked out, I don't think it would look that good. I think Porsche did a good job contrasting the two colors together. But we're going to step on into this thing. And one thing I wanted to go over with you guys is that this is a numbered car, and it's actually a pretty rare car. So taking a look at this badge right here, as we could tell, they only ever made 987 units of the Boxster Black Edition. And the reason why they chose the number 987 is because Porsche labeled this specific generation of Boxster as the 987 generation. I told you guys previously in the video that this is a second generation Boxster, and they started making this in 2011. Porsche just decided to label this specific generation as the 987 generation, which is why they threw it back in here to only make 987 units of these. It's just a cool little connection to the car. But just zooming out a little, everything in this car is black. We have the leather black steering wheel, the leather black shift knob, leather black parking brake, leather black glove blocks, leather black dash. I mean, the list goes on and on. Everything in this car is leather and it's black. And we even have the blacked out stitching as well, which I really like the way it looks. It looks subtle and it looks discreet. But turning around, just taking a look at the seats, these aren't crazy bucket seats. They're more of like a touring seat. And I think these seats fit this car really, really nice. And going into the infotainment system right here, we do have a couple cool buttons. I don't care about this. It's all about this down here. So we have a adjustable spoiler button in the rear. We also have adjustable suspension button to stiffen it up a little bit if you're trying to step out a bit. And then we also have the traction control off button, which is a necessity to have in any Porsche. I think the biggest difference of this interior as opposed to all the other ones is that it's fully leather and black, and that we have this cool little trim piece right here, and we have the Black Edition sills right here. I think those are the three hallmark differences of the interior. Well, I've gone over all the great things about the Boxster S Black Edition, but there has to be something not so great about this car. I mean, no car is perfect, right? And I was able to find something that isn't perfect, and it has to do with this key right here. So let's step out of this thing, and the problem lies when you come to lock the car. So let's close this door right here, and let's just imagining we're walking away from the car and we want to lock the door. Let's take a look at this key right here. So this key is a pretty standard Porsche key, looks like all the other ones, but let's flip it around. This is where the problem lies. So we got three buttons right here. We have the key button up here, we got this button to unlock the hood, and then we have this button right here to unlock the rear. But now our final button is this top button right here, and it's just a key. And basically this button is meant to lock and unlock the car. And this becomes a problem because if you try to lock this car and walk away from it, it doesn't really tell you whether or not the car is locked or unlocked. Let's give it a try. Let's try locking this car. So did you see how these lights just flashed 2 times on the headlight? So we heard a little honk as well. That's the only way that you could tell this whether or not this car is locked. It's not like a Lexus or something like that, where you press the button and it gives you a nice chime to let you know it's locked, and then you can walk away with assurance. This car, it's a little bit tricky. And now we're going to go ahead and unlock the car, and the way we're going to be able to tell is that it flashes 1 time. Let's lock the car one more time. So did you see that? We had a honk and then we had 2 flashes, and that's the only way you're able to tell whether or not this car is locked. And I don't really like that. I think that's definitely a bad feature of this car. But with that being said, I mean, I think that's a pretty good overview of the 2014 Boxster S Black Edition. Now we're going to take it on a spin, so stay tuned. So hopping on into this car, if you're not a Porsche owner, you're not going to know this, but if we get on into this thing right here, you're going to tell that the key slot is actually on the left-hand side right here. In most cars, the key slot would be right here on the right-hand side. And the reason why Porsche did this on the left-hand side is that Porsche's lineage is in racing. And during their Le Mans series, a part of the race is actually running and getting into your car to start the race. And what Porsche's thought was, when running and jumping into this car, it would be faster for the driver to put the key into the left-hand side instead of putting the key in the right-hand side, to just give them that extra edge in the race. So Porsche has carried on that lineage throughout all their production cars, which is why you'll always see the key was on the left-hand side instead of the right-hand side. But with that being said, let's get this thing closed. Let's take this thing on a drive. Very adequate power as well. This thing doesn't have crazy horsepower to the point to where it's like a muscle car, and if you step on the gas, your back end is just going to swing out. This car is very planted, very stable, and very, very sharp. And just showing you guys turning the wheel right now, there's a couple different buttons in this car to adjust the suspension and stuff. Right now, we're just on the factory setting to where it just drives, you know, like a nice smooth street car. But if we push this suspension button right here, right up, wow, that is crazy. Right off the bat, the car just gets so much more sharp and so much more precise. I mean, wherever you turn this steering wheel, this car is going that direction. There's no vagueness, there's no lag. This thing is just as sharp as a Japanese knife. The clutch is also very forgiving as well. If you release the clutch a little bit too early, it's not going to bog out the car. It's just going to smoothly shift into the next gear. Honestly, I don't know how Porsche designed these transmissions, man, but these guys are at the head of the game. They're at the head of the game when it comes to 6-speed. And I truly believe that this car right here is this good because of this transmission. And the overall package, considering that the motor is mid-mounted instead of being rear-mounted like the 911s, it just gives this car a little bit better of a center of gravity, I feel like. It's just an overall really well-balanced car. So taking a turn right here, let's see what this does. Oh, that is amazing. So when this car, because I just had traction control off right here, and this car kind of stepped out on me a little bit, but this car is so stable because the motor is behind us right now. This thing feels like a swing, and you could just catch it and just bring it right back to where you need it to be so easily. It's not unpredictable. If this was a Mustang, I would have done a 360. That was amazing, and that's another reason why this Boxster is such a great handling car. I also like this Boxster because it's so aerodynamic to the point to where you can wear a hat in this car and the wind just flies right over you. It's not even like we have the top down right now. I mean, if I put my head up here, we could feel the wind go over, but when I'm down here like this, the wind just blows right over, and with the heater on, it feels like an extremely comfortable climate in here. Considering the fact that it's like 25 degrees outside right now, that's a pretty impressive statement. So that was the 2014 Porsche Boxster S Black Edition. Not only I got to give you guys a pretty comprehensive review of this car, but I also got to stretch its legs on the open street. And let me tell you, this car sure does know how to leave an impression on someone. But with that being said, please be sure to give me a like and subscribe. turn on the notification bell if you want to watch future videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Cheers.